Hi guys, I'm Nicholas Wallwork, CEO of Redbrick and propertyforum.com. I'm here today on my mentee client site in Fleet in Hampshire, just for the site update really, the monthly site update to show you how we're getting along. I'm stood on a mammoth water intake pipe. This is a 10-bar water inlet main for 44 apartments that we're building here. So you can see it's a pretty chunky piece of kit, very solid, does up to 10 bar, and that will service, as you can see through the trenches here, this will service the entire building water supply. That's coming really quickly actually, and services are something we've talked about in previous videos and we'll no doubt talk about again. Really critical to get your services engaged and in early, and certainly the orders in early. We've got to order a whole new substation for this site. We've had the water in, so electric, water, gas if needed, critical supplies, really critical to getting a site going on time. Those are things that can delay a site massively, and they are a huge area of risk because you're never sure of the time and cost of them. You control the construction firm, the builders, you can work with them to make up lost weeks, and you can vary the program accordingly. But with services, it's out of your control. You're left in the capable hands of Thames Water or SSE Electrical or whoever it might be to get those services in, and that's like speaking to a brick wall sometimes. You can be on the phone for half an hour before you even get through. So massive area of risk. I'm very pleased to see this huge water main is in today. So follow me around and I'll give you a tour of the rest of the building. So here we are on the ground floor. Now a lot of work's gone on this month with enabling works, with drainage and a lot of stuff that's unforeseen. We've seen outside the water mains have been going in, so there's been some fairly hardcore structural work gone on and facilitation work. So although it's not very impactful, this room really, ground floor really feels much the same. There are some key elements that have changed. So let's have a walk around the ground floor and then we'll go upstairs and see there's a bit more work going on upstairs. So let's have a look there. So one of the things here that's changed is we've got a lot of the structural steels in. Now we have covered on the channel another video to look out for, which is about the importance of a structural engineer on site. And we talk about these steels in that video, but for the purposes of the walkthrough today, this is again major facilitation work that's ready. All the impactive work is going to happen this month with putting walls up on the top floor and some other exciting stuff. I prefer the impactive work because it feels like you're moving faster, and visually you sort of appear to be moving faster. And the beginning stage and the end stage tend to be quite slow. The final fixtures and details, each time you come each week, doesn't seem a huge amount's changed, and the same as the beginning. All these major bits of, trenches are being dug, services being put in, all that kind of stuff. But as we progress, the middle section is probably the fastest, where walls go up and, physical building happens and looks really exciting. So that's the phase. Hopefully I'll be starting to show you come next month. One thing to note here actually is this one of the demos of the demolition of the stairwell. So actually up here, if you can gradually pan up here, guys, this was one of the stairwells. And if you can remember back to a past video, this has been demolished, and there's, I think, 2 or 3 of the stairwells that have been demolished that are no longer needed on the site to make extra space for apartments. You only need a certain number of staircases, and those need to be within certain safety distances, certain escape routes. So it's really important to speak to your approved inspector and your fire consultants all at the beginning of the project when designing the layouts to make sure they comply with fire safety standards, exit routes, all that kind of stuff. Really, really important. If you go and have the wrong safety route, you could render half your building useless. If they have to go through a long passage and it's not a safe escape, your design won't be compliant. So be extremely cautious to get the right power team in place early doors. Let's carry on having a walk around. Something to note here, not a huge amount of change here. We've got the roller shutter doors in a couple of locations you can see in the back of the screen here. Those are being dealt with by a fenestration, tricky word, fenestration planning application, and that deals with the outside of the building. It deals with all the vents that can have to be punched through for all the air filtration in the buildings and en suites, etc. They'll deal with new windows, slight changes to windows and doors on the outside of the building. So although, notably you won't notice much of a difference to the building, it does require planning those kind of things. Obviously removing big shutter doors and replacing with windows, something needs to happen, but these will be here for a few months yet whilst that planning application gets approved, which almost certainly it will. Fairly uncontentious planning app, and it's been well prepared by our consultants. So again, that will be kind of like that for the next few months, but important to note the planning application is in. Right, we're up here on the first floor of the building now. Fair bit more work gone on up here this month, and again, it's all facilitation work. We have lost a week or two from materials for the subcontractor who's dealing with the setting out of the walls. Now, they've promised to make that up, and they've got till the 22nd of this month, I believe it is, to finish that job, regardless of the fact they've lost a week from lack of materials on site. So they've struggled with that, but they're aware of it, and they've sorted it, and there's a lot of materials arriving today to build the walls. So even by this time, in 2 weeks' time, we're going to see the majority of the walls up here on the top floor, which will be very, very quick. They're working 7 days a week, God knows how many hours, all within the construction guidelines and all the limits for noise and vibration and all that kind of stuff. So they're working within the limits, but they're going to push those limits to make up that time. And that's great. When you've got a contractor that can do that, it all comes down to the due diligence of sourcing the right contractor to work with, giving them very tight specifications, project plans, and strict and tight JCT contracts. That's the main form of the construction contract used here in the UK. If you've got all of that in place, usually the consultants and the subcontractors, the main contractor, they're all minded to make up the time and work really hard to hit their deadlines. If they don't, you've got LADs, liquidated damages at the end of the project, which is basically a penalty for being late. No one wants that, so they're going to make up the time off their own back, which is great. And you get this push-pull effect throughout a site. You might be a week or two ahead of something, you might be a week or two behind, and you have to kind of make it up. It's constantly squeezing, so you hit the end deadline at the end of it. And it's about monitoring very carefully. We come to site every single week or every month on the big monthly meetings as well to monitor the main contractor and the subcontractors to make sure they're all on time. We feel they're a couple of weeks behind at the moment for these various reasons, and we've been on site today talking to them about how they're going to make that up, which they have already got plans for, so really good to see. But let's walk around the setting out now, and I'll sort of show you how it's starting to form a view of the building. So you can ultimately see on the floor, if we can pan down to these and down the hallways, I'm now walking down the two walls of the hallway. And ultimately these are good thick structures in here where the rest of the tracking will come up, the walls will come out of here, insulation placed within the walls for sound, acoustics, and heat insulation as they build these walls. So we're essentially now starting to see the layouts that have been put on the laser guided lines, which were done last couple of weeks. And to say next couple of weeks, these walls are going to come out of the ground, quite literally. So it doesn't look like a massive change from the last time we videoed, but an awful lot of facilitation work's gone on, a lot of material ordering, and the next 2 or 3 weeks is going to be incredibly impactful. So I'm looking forward to showing you that next month on the next video. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon, like this video, please. Please give us your comments, positive or negative. I want to hear your experiences. What sites are you on? Have you gained anything from this video and any of the others? But stay tuned and subscribe. You'll get to see the next video where all the walls go up. Let's carry on round. So here's an example. This would be a flat here, probably a one-bed flat, and you'd be coming in the front door, And I can't remember the exact layout of this particular flat because there's 44 of them, but you're likely to have a kitchen area kind of in that corner, probably have a room or two facing the front there. So, we're stood in a one-bed flat right now. It doesn't look like much, does it, on a video with a few pieces of metal laid out, but already there's a lot of detail gone in to make sure this setting out is correct, and all the pre-planning and everything you've had to do in advance to make sure that this is ready to go. And when the materials arrive on site at the right time, they've got to be ordered at the right time, otherwise you have stacks of materials lying around that are in people's way, get damaged, get broken, get stolen. There's all sorts of issues you can have on sites. And then the really impactful stuff starts to happen. But let's carry on the walk around the corridor. I'm going to go back out the front door. You have to go back out the front door, guys. Really important. So here is the mezzanines that are going in. So hugely exciting. Again, we've talked about these on another video relating to the construction of the mezzanines and how important the structural engineer is for the formation of these kind of bits of the build. But this is very exciting. These are extra rooms that we created out of nothing. If you're looking to maximize the space in your builds, look upwards, look at volume. Even if you can't get a mezzanine in, can you get the height into that room? A voluminous flat feels like a larger flat, and if you space design it well, you might be able to get more units in for your scheme. If you really would like some help designing your scheme, please do reach out. I work with people through my mentorship program to train you on all these kind of tips and tricks of construction, whether you want to figure out your first HMO, whether you want to do a larger office to residential scheme. I can help with all this kind of stuff. So if you're interested, reach out and we can have a chat how I can try and add some value to your site. But these particular mezzanines, super exciting. We've got 4 rooms going in there. That's extra floor space and extra GDV, probably likely to be, I don't know, 70, 80, 100 square meters of additional floor space. So fantastic use of space and adds to the GDV of your site, which we like. So that was the walk round of our site, our client site in Fleet in Hampshire. You can see there's a lot happened, a lot underground happened, a lot of money spent in the ground, you know, digging holes, digging the trenches for the incoming services, doing the major structural work required to protect the building and support the building before you can then start doing all the major internal works. But I hope you've seen today, you know, a rough layout. Each month we're documenting this scheme as well as our other schemes that are coming online to show you some of the challenges and tips of constructing, how you can get into property development, how you can get into investing, and I can help you with all that if you need my help for any area that you're not comfortable with or you want to grow into. Yeah, and we'll follow this video around each month through the same walkthrough, through the same corridors, and hopefully you'll gradually start to see the building come out of the ground. So if you like what you see and you want to follow that, please do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon. Please like the video. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear lots of interesting comments, what you're up to, what you're doing. So please tune in and connect with me. I'd love to hear what you're up to. All the best and see you on another video very soon. Take care.